Everybody got a comment sheet? If you want to make comments? The agendas, minutes from last meeting are up here if you'd like to pick them up. We'll give you about 30 seconds to talk and then we'll get going. Okay, let's get going. Now I'm going to call the meeting to order. If everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Teresa, if you'd lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, you call the roll, please. And Pat Flanagan will probably be a few minutes late, but we expect her, so.
Okay. Pioneer Town, Michelle Myers. Here. Yucca Mesa, Tom Ziegert. Here. Landers, John Johnson. Here. Joshua Tree, Mark Lundquist.
Here.
Flamingo Heights is currently vacant. Desert Heights, Pat Flanagan is on her way. Wonder Valley, Teresa Sykes. Here. Morongo Valley, Gail Sparrett. Here. Copper Mountain Mesa, Mary Helen Tuttle. Here.
Okay, thank you. Adoption of agenda. I have one one revision in the agenda for public safety reports. For number 5, we're going to add Robert Bradbury, Morongo Basin Ambulance Association. Robert, are you here? Right here. Great, thank you. All right. With that, do I hear a motion to adopt the agenda? Second? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, approval of April 10, 2017 minutes. Okay, second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, so moved. We do not have any memorial adjournments. Okay. Call for public comment. At this time, anyone may comment on items not on the agenda that are of interest to the public and within the jurisdiction of the MAC. The MAC is prohibited by law from taking action on matters not on the agenda. Comment may be offered on items on the agenda. When those items come up for discussion or action, a limit of 3 comments per item and 3 minutes per comment may be imposed. In all cases, if you wish to speak, please submit a registration card to the secretary and proceed to the podium when recognized by the chair. Speakers should address the MAC as a whole. Comments to individual delegates and our staff are not appropriate at this time. Okay, we'll see what we've got. And we have all new batteries in the mics tonight. So we may need a jump start, but right now they're working. Let me see. I'll go down here. Ahmed Fleck. Ahmed, you can use the mic up there and turn it on. It's self-powered, so you shouldn't have a problem. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? All right. I would like to follow up on an issue that came up at the last meeting, and it had to do with Wonder Valley's most famous person, I nearly want to say, Jack McConaughey. And we had a memorial. But Teresa, at the last meeting, wrote a letter, or read a letter here. She wrote it and she read it out loud here. And it had to do with the desire of the community, Wonder Valley, to have the fire department named after Jack Conahey. So sometimes bits and pieces like that get lost, and I was curious if the delegates here can tell me whether any action is being taken, whether it has been considered, or whether we'll wait till next time.
I'm going to break my own rule, and yes, we're looking into it.
Thank you.
Ed Valoran, Desert Heights. One of the items I was going to talk about, I see Mark's already doing it. I was going to ask to have the Morongo Basin ambulance be added to our reports of agencies because, you know, they are the primary medical responder for the vast, you know, part of the unincorporated areas. So they are the official first responder, and they don't charge us when they come out for a medical call. The only time you get charged is if the ambulance takes you to the hospital. And, you know, there's a second issue, which I didn't know who was going to be briefing tomorrow in 29 Palms on the vacation rentals, but I understand it's going to be Mark. I attended virtually all the 29 Palms vacation rentals, and 13% of 29 Palms income is derived from the hotels. So the hotels did have quite a bit of sway. You know, they were asking for stuff. They want people to have their septic tank pumped every 6 months because theirs weren't. And an architect backed me up and said, hey, that's because they're not designed for the size of the bathrooms and the bedrooms, which is what's used to determine the size of a tank you have to have. They also wanted to have us put sprinklers in all of our rooms, retrofit all our bedrooms for sprinklers. And they failed on that, but they do require a septic tank inspection, and there are other items that might be a little bit more stringent than individuals will want out here. Now, it's just going to be a briefing to inform them because they are a city. They have no sway, but they do have the sphere of influence called Desert Heights. And it's a two-edged sword. It cut very good the right way one time because there was an additional solar field that wanted to go up, and the city was able to block it because it was within their sphere of influence. I thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed. Next speaker, Blake Baxter.
Good evening. My name is this on? No. I know. I think it's. How about now? Yes. Good evening. My name is Blake Baxter. I'm Joshua Tree. We're starting a neighborhood watch for the communities of Panorama Heights and White Feather combined. So that is the area south of Highway 62 from Neptune on the west to Copper Mesa on the east. It's a pretty large area. And our first meeting is this Thursday at 4 o'clock. It'll be right here. We'll be meeting with the Sheriff's Service Specialist to talk about kicking off our neighborhood watch. So if you're interested, please talk to me. I'll be here.
Thank you, Blake. Next speaker, Gail Austin.
Thank you. I wanted to talk about the Highway 62 project that's going on right now. There's so much being done, giving extended shoulders along Highway 62, but the section between White Feather and Sunfair, because we already have a middle lane, it looks like we're not going to get the extended shoulders. And all of the dirt roads that go north, we have almost ditches between the highway and our roads, and so we almost have to come to a complete stop on the highway to make a right turn onto our dirt roads. And we really either need just maybe an apron in so that that ditch doesn't happen, or we need to have those extended shoulders in our area. And I'm afraid that because it wasn't done when this whole thing was done, that it will never get done. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Next speaker, Ellen Jackman.
Hi, good evening. I'm Ellen Jackman from Joshua Tree. And I just wanted to make a comment on the disrepair of Park Boulevard and Quail Springs Road. Most people are aware that the park has experienced increased visitation pretty much every year for the past several years. And what we're seeing is it's just absolutely littered with large potholes, and the debris that's come out of those potholes is still sitting on the roads. So I don't know if there's any plan in the works to address the wear and tear on the roads from the increased use of the park, but that would be my hope. Thank you.
I can answer that for the edification of the audience. That was held up. That was on the agenda to pave that road from the highway all the way to the park entrance. The problem was that small island on right in the middle of the Park Boulevard at Highway 62. Nobody knows who owns it. Nobody knows who put it up. Nobody knows who engineered it, because they wanted to do some modifications on that island to turn left into the Joshua Tree Saloon, for instance. They've given up, so they put it back on the schedule. They are going to pave it in the first part of 2018. It's on the schedule now, back. Okay? All right. That's it for report, and we'll go from the comments right down to public safety. County, have we got somebody from County Fire? Mike Snow.
Good evening, members of the MAC, ladies and gentlemen in the audience. Mike Snow, San Bernardino County Fire Department, Battalion Chief. Just a real quick report for you guys this evening on call responses for the month of April. In total, for the 6 communities served under the MAC areas, that would include Johnson Valley, Joshua Tree, Wonder Valley, Landers, Pioneer Town, and Yucca Mesa. We had a total of 254 responses. 6 of those in Johnson Valley. Joshua Tree accounted for 129. Wonder Valley had 57 responses, Landers 31, Pioneer Town had 3, and 28 responses were in the Yucca Mesa area. Medical aids continue to be our largest call volume to the communities. Of those 254 responses, 181 of those were medically necessity calls that were responded to. And just pop quiz for anybody here in the audience. Anybody know what month this is as far as fire safety is concerned?
Bike month.
Which one?
Bike month?
Bike month? Well, that's probably a safety awareness, yes, but not necessarily from a fire safety standpoint. What we do have, though, is National Electrical Fire Safety Month. And you were just going to say that. So just a real quick note on the electrical safety, folks, especially in your homes. Make sure that you're not overloading your outlets. Everybody know what the electrical octopus looks like? That's when you put one of those 27 outlet plugs into your 2 outlet jack and you've got every one of them full, and you're running every appliance off of that one outlet through those connections. You know, that's a big no-no. It's going to overload the system, and if your circuit breaker system doesn't catch it appropriately, you're going to have a resultant fire. The other thing that we see a lot in home fires with electrical usage is placing electrical cords under mats and carpeting, or you may have those things run under your carpeting with, say, like a chair or a sofa sitting over that. And when those items pinch down on those electrical cords, it increases the amount of resistance that that electricity moves through those wires with. And the result is a heating up of the electrical cord and a resultant fire. So we just ask you to go through your homes, make sure that you don't have any of those hazards present. And remember, you can't use multiple power strips to take away from the electrical octopus. It still ends up being the same thing. So don't overload your circuits. With that, that's all I have, unless there's any questions or comments from the audience.
I look at stretch then, isn't something like 44 of those 57 Water Valley calls out of the area going up towards the M40 and Highway 40 and stuff like that? Isn't a large number which stretches manpower even thinner?
It is. You know, as some of you may or may not know, the South Desert Division out here covers a total of 6,718 square miles. We respond from Yucca Valley to the Colorado River, everything north of the 62 to the I-40. And in that area, we have 4 full-time staff stations, and that's it. So when you start getting out and away from your populous areas, those response times increase. And we do have, you know, I-40 being a major corridor, I-15 being a major corridor, we get a lot of traffic through those areas. We do have a lot of responses, both fire as well as medical. And what this gentleman's referring to is our unit that's located out of Wonder Valley responded. Of the 57 responses that they had last month, 44 of those responses were outside of the community of Wonder Valley to assist those areas that are not staffed. So it does take away the firefighters from that community, but nevertheless, you know, the county fire system, we have multiple units in other jurisdictions, and we do back up those jurisdictions by moving resources around to make sure that the holes aren't left unattended for long periods of time. But it does cause us to be resource deficient. So, good.
Do you send the engines out on
It depends. There's a move nowadays to try and do what we call a tier response system based on the nature of the medical aid and the information that the 911 dispatchers get. So depending on the severity of the call, it can either be an ambulance-only response, or we may send one of our brush patrols on there, or it may include both units as well as the fire engine, based on the type of call. And what I mean by that is, say we get a report of somebody that's not breathing, we might anticipate that to be a CPR-related incident. We'll send more resources to that because it is manpower intensive to provide that critical care for that patient than, say, somebody that's experiencing a nosebleed, in which, you know, we would send a single resource. So, sure.
Could you refresh our memories about external fires, like fire pits and stuff like that, or burning of trash in property?
Yes. Just so everybody is aware, there is no open burning anywhere within the county without the use of a permit. So even if, you know, if you're planning to have a pit barbecue, or you're planning on cleaning up your property, burning the tumbleweeds and what have you, you do need to visit your local fire station of jurisdiction, obtain a permit, and on those permits it gives specific information as far as who to contact prior to burning, the size of the burning that's permitted, what you can burn, and the safety items that you need to make that happen. Now, for the communities of Morongo Valley, Pioneer Town, those areas have predominantly a lot of state responsibility area within them, and that falls back to the jurisdiction of CAL FIRE, our neighbor and brother firefighters back here. Those areas you have to specifically go to a CAL FIRE facility and request those burn permits and get those parameters from them prior to burning.
A follow-up on that, is there any cost to the property owner to get a permit?
Not from us out here. There are localities and jurisdictions that do charge for the permits. County Fire does not charge currently to obtain the permit out here. I can't speak for CAL FIRE whether they're doing that, but they'll address that when they take the mic.
Can you talk about those metal trash cans with the holes in them? Do you recommend burning in those, or?
Well, you know, when I was a kid growing up, I remember my grandmother having a burn barrel in her backyard, and I think a lot of us do. And the primary purpose for that was to take the night's trash that you had accumulated in the kitchen that evening out to the burn barrel to get rid of it so you're not accumulating trash on the property. Well, we can't burn ordinary trash in that nature anymore. You know, those types of things have to be taken to a landfill. Most of our permissible burning now in the way of property cleanup is restricted to the natural vegetation with on the property, tumbleweeds or small branches and twigs of that nature. You're not allowed to burn construction trash or any finished products in those cleanup efforts. All of that stuff has to go to the local recycle facility.
Are those safer to burn in, though, for those items?
It's always safer to have some type of a containment system if you can for burning. Outside of, you know, the commercially available burn containers or something that you do makeshift, they do give you the parameters in which to build the fire ring to conduct those fires and the safety distances that are required to make that happen. So.
Okay, with that, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, we got some CAL FIRE here.
Good evening, thank you for having us. My name is Anthony Milnick. I'm an engineer out of CAL FIRE Yucca Valley Station. And I came to basically hit on the questions on permits. So burn permits for when you clear vegetation and you're going to burn it off in the state responsibility area, those all expired as of April 30th. So we're not currently allowing any more burning on your property for that cleared natural vegetation. The reason for that is fire season is here. We've responded to multiple fires inside San Bernardino and Riverside County in the last week. We got a little bit of a break with the rain, but everything's already dried out, so I'm sure we'll start back up again. I'm sure you've all noticed I've been in the desert for 15 years, and it's been a long time since we've had the grass crop that we currently have. So we're really pushing, please be safe. Like I said, there's no more burning of your natural vegetation in the state responsibility area. I don't know if the county is allowing that in the local. He didn't hit on that, so I can't speak for him there. So we're encouraging you to do any yard work early, especially if you're using mechanical, tractors, lawnmowers, anything like that. Please do that early in the morning. Have some tools on hand, have a water supply on hand, just in case you do have a rock strike and start a fire. Sir, to answer your question on the fees, CAL FIRE doesn't charge any fees whatsoever for our permits. You can call the station, tell us what you need, we'll come out to your property and we'll do it on site. You don't have to come to the station at all, you can just give us a call and we'll come out to you and do it on site. With that being said, with fire season being here, readyforwildfire.org is a great site if you're having any, if you have questions on what you need to do to prep your property or to make a bag if you have to be evacuated. Any of that stuff is covered on there. And also, CAL FIRE's came out with their new app. It's available for iOS and Android. Just do a search for CAL FIRE and it should come right up. And that gives you also safety tips and information on current wildland fires that are burning anywhere in the state of California. And I believe that's all I have. Any questions at all?
Okay, thank you for coming, appreciate it.
Thank you.
CHP, Eric Robles.
Good evening, everyone. Eric Robles. I'm the commander of the CHP station here in Joshua Tree. I don't have anything too fantastic like burning stuff and wildfires, but I do want to remind you, in case you didn't know, that from May 22nd to June 4th, it's going to be National Click It or Ticket Mobilization Week. And what that is to make sure you are properly restrained in your vehicle. That means a seatbelt, car seat, whatever you drive, you should have that. Helmets on bicycles, helmets on motorcycles. We all set out when we drove here today to make sure we have a seatbelt and a working airbag. And typically most vehicles, unless it's pretty old, it's always the goal not to try to use those types of equipment. They're there in case of an emergency. So we want to make sure that we're properly restrained to limit our perhaps injury or even death. As you may know, that sometimes people do die in accidents and a lot of them are not restrained. So that's why we're going to have some extra enforcement, specifically looking for those types of violations. Simon's not here this week again. Sorry, it's me again. He went to training. I know you guys like listening to him and not to me, but I'll take a few questions if anybody has anything for me. Yes, sir.
How much is a no seatbelt ticket?
We don't impose any types of fines, and it varies from county to county. So usually the court has that bailing out. Yes, ma'am.
What is the speed limit between Yucca Valley and Joshua Tree? There's like 3 different ones from Yucca Mesa into town.
So you saw it used to be 65 miles per hour past the memorial.
Right?
And then it looks like it lowered down to 45. So those orange signs are not necessarily a white and black regulatory sign. So it's a suggested speed of 45 miles per hour because of the oncoming traffic. And to be honest, it's not too far away from where it changes to 45 anyway, as you come into Joshua Tree. So it's probably a good rule of thumb just to do the 45 mile per hour speed limit.
Well, it says 55, and then it says 65.
Mm-hmm.
This is between Yucca Mesa, Lockett Center Road. It says
Okay.
55, then it's 65, then it's orange 55, orange 45, and black and white 45. So it's like people are not running into each other trying to figure
I think under normal circumstances, minus the construction, that 65 is a little bit longer, and then it drops down to 45 zone ahead, and then you typically see our radar trailers sitting out there because we want to slow them down.
Well, yeah, I like the radar trailer.
We do too, yeah. It gets me every time I come to work, so yeah, a lot of people, right? We'll see what we can do about that. Yes, sir.
I was going up down there at the Arco station over there in Yucca Valley. There's a double-double
Yep.
down there at the intersection of the station there and the shopping mall there. And my understanding, I think the community understands that a double-double stripe, you cannot cross it. Is that correct?
That's the way it's supposed to be, and I know you brought that up before. You know, it's the town of Yucca Valley, and it's outside of our jurisdiction. However, I do know of some officers that have seen that violation and tried to educate some folks. Whether they gave them a ticket or not, I'm unaware. But we do make enforcement stops as a result of that, just to help folks.
But you are enforcing that.
We're trying to, but that's not our normal patrol route. You know, we have to go down from the office, down to Morongo and down to the 247. So on occasion, yes, sir.
Because I see that every day that people turn left, going westbound, going into the station there, and it creates a hazard there.
Yes, sir. I would agree, and I think that's probably why it's the double yellows, the way it is. I don't know what the remedy is. I know my friend here from the county is here, and we talked about engineering before, so maybe that's something else we can do. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Speaking of radar trailers, are those the signs that tell you how fast you're going and how fast you're supposed to be going?
So our radar trailer is physically that. It's a trailer. It's a big box. It looks like it's about a half a refrigerator on 2 tires sitting out there. And it has a big sign on the top, basically what your speed limit is supposed to be. And then it has a flashing yellow light, yep. And that's a little lower down. It's about the size of, about the height of a vehicle. You may be speaking about the ones that are posted on the signs up above. They used to have one coming up into Yucca at the top of the Yucca grade coming eastbound. It hasn't worked in a while, and there was also another one on the westbound side. Yeah.
Is there any plans to put in more of those, particularly coming into Joshua Tree out of Yucca Valley? As a citizen, I see people just flying through there all the time. I make a point of stopping right down
Sure.
to 45 as soon as those signs happen, and people don't like it a
You know,
whole lot.
we move our radar trailer when we can. Sometimes we're up down on Hess. Sometimes we put it up on Yucca Mesa. But those fixed ones, we don't have anything to do with. I don't know if that's county or city or what that is.
Even the trailer ones, I think it would be really helpful if we had the parks like sunset on a Saturday,
Well-
on a weekend, on a Friday night.
Sure, we only have one. And,
Only one?
yeah, we only have one.
How do we get more?
Well, I don't really know of any offices that actually have more than one that I've ever worked at. So we try to move it around as best we can. Typically, my public information officer, Simon Miller, he takes that out. But we can have a few more people take those things out as well. It's not too complicated for us.
I just think it might help a lot with the traffic coming through downtown Joshua Tree, going a heck of a lot faster than 45.
I understand.
One other question I
Yes.
have is, they're planning to have license plate cameras at 247 and 62 in the near future. Could you inform us a little bit more detail about the purpose of that?
A license plate camera.
Yeah, we're talking about putting up some kind of cameras out there for license plates for whatever reason.
Yucca Valley is doing.
That was passed at the last council meeting, Al. You'd have to get with the town of Yucca Valley to answer that question.
You're not familiar with that?
Well, I know, like, we have a license plate reader on one of our patrol cars that goes and identifies license plates, looking for stolen vehicles, wanted vehicles. It collects a lot of information off those. But I don't know if that's the same thing that you're referring to. So, yeah, I unfortunately, I'm unfamiliar with anything going up. Anybody else? Hang on. Yes, sir.
Yeah, do you guys enforce anything, or what do you guys, about people just crossing the highway, bolting out at any time of the day, right here in Josh Street, right in downtown?
Are you referring to a pedestrian or a car or both?
Pedestrian, 'cause I can't tell you how many times it's like, around this time of day when the sun's coming down, you got people bolting across, and I'm sure everybody here has almost hit somebody before, and it's, I try to tell as many people I'll drive by, I'll slow down and tell them, hey, please use the crosswalk, 'cause they don't realize there's a gentleman that got hit. I actually responded to that guy being hit, and the last thing anybody wants to do is be on the driver's seat and have to react to somebody's mistake, basically ruin your day or your life, basically.
I personally contacted some of those folks myself, and, with varying responses. Some people are just uneducated,
Yeah.
and other folks are just in a hurry. I know what you're saying because I see it all the time as well, and that is a concern for me and the folks that I work with.
Yeah.
I have asked them to step up enforcement, but, a lot of times we're passing through, and if nothing's happening at the time when you see the black and white patrol car, it makes it a little bit difficult.
Yeah,
Um,
I understand you guys are just highway, so, but, what is there something, as far as we can do as up, if there's something that we can do, let people know that to use the sidewalk, something, or use a crosswalk.
Well, I guess something's better than nothing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and I agree with you. Anything that perhaps educates some of the business owners, or I'm sure they already are aware, but I don't know if anybody has anything in their storefront. I don't know, maybe on the way out, if they're not from town, to say, hey, make sure you use a crosswalk. Anything, I'm sure, could be of benefit.
Yeah, just to encourage people, because I tell people I get reactions from other things to, getting birds.
Sure. Sure,
So
well,
we're doing it for them, just-
absolutely.
I've actually been hit by 3 different cars on 3 different occasions. It doesn't feel nice.
Oh, I'm sure it doesn't. I'm sure it doesn't.
Every time I see somebody in crosswalks, it reminds me of it. So, and I don't want people to have to go through that. It's not my own personal, gain, it's just, I don't want people to have to go through that process. It's not really fun.
But we certainly appreciate anything you can do to help,
Yes, sir.
because we are certainly trying to do our part as well.
Okay.
There was one more.
Well, it'd be the last question.
Has the traffic volume on 62 increased in the last 18 to 24 years? It sure seems that way to me, and I drive 62 a lot.
You know, it seems to be seasonal. I've been here for 3 years now, and I noticed right around this time of the year, the summertime, when kids start getting out of school and the river traffic starts happening, I see a few more boats, a few more trailers coming through. It also depends on the base, what's happening out there, because they sometimes add to our traffic. I really haven't noticed anything as far as traffic
A
yet.
lot more congestion, particularly going through Yucca at 247 and 62. The back up there now is about 100 yards almost on a regular basis.
I've noticed that when I was going home a few times.
Okay, thank you, Commander. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, Sheriff, did I see Lieutenant Barta back there? Yes, I did. And he's in civies tonight. Yes.
How about now? Actually, I don't have anything except to answer your ALPR question. That's the automatic license plate reader that you were referring to. Yes, that is going up. There's a fixed post going up at 247 and 62. There's also a fixed post that's going up in 29 Palms at 62 and Adobe Road. And then each jurisdiction that the sheriff covers, the 2 contract cities and the county, are going to get 5 mobile cars with automatic license plate readers. And the purpose of that is it's an investigative tool. It helps you find critically missing persons. If you know what their license plate is, if they're in a vehicle, and this will be able to tell us. It'll hit on stolen vehicles, and you can actually input stuff in there if you're looking for something to give you a notice when it goes by either the fixed post or by one of the units. So that's why they're going up. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Does that go right to your dispatch center, or does it get transmitted right to the patrol car?
It will, let's say if it's in the patrol car goes by it, it'll actually alert the patrol unit. So if it's a stolen vehicle, and it gets on the plate. The fixed one goes to, it goes to a database, and then it goes to dispatch, and then from dispatch to the patrolman.
So they won't be giving tickets or anything? They're just-
No, no tickets. So. Yes, ma'am.
We had a community meeting last Saturday, and the topic of reserve officers came up. I guess Wonder Valley at one time had a reserve officer, and the community wondered if it might be possible for us to get one again.
Well, actually, the reserve officers that you guys are looking for are few and far between now. So most of those guys, they're level 1s. That means they have the same peace officer status when they're on duty as a regular deputy, are very few. So we have 2 remaining in our area, and one's over 60 and the other one's almost 80. So to answer your question, you're probably not going to get a reserve.
Thank you.
Does Wonder Valley have citizen patrol over there?
They do. Yes, ma'am.
I'm just curious. Someone came in my yard and stole my disabled license plate off my car.
called in to report it. And I was told that, well, you live on a dirt road, so it probably fell off. And then I noticed when I was reading the sheriff's column that somebody, they did take a report from somebody. And I was wondering, well, he didn't seem really concerned. And I would think a disabled license plate would be valuable to somebody.
Sure. So, yes, we do take those reports, and whether you live on a dirt road or not, because I live on a dirt road as well, if you're calling for service, then it's my expectation that a deputy will respond.
Well, they didn't, so, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lieutenant, appreciate it. Last but not least, Robert Bradbury from Morongo Basin Ambulance Association, and welcome for your first time.
All right, good evening, everyone. Before I begin, I got to share what month it is, what year it is. This week's Nurse Week, Nurse Appreciation Week. So if you guys know a nurse, you guys should thank them. Nurses aren't there. It's not on. There we go. How about that? Better? So Nurse Week, it's Nurse Week this week. So if you guys have a nurse that you're related to, know a nurse, you should thank them. I don't care what anybody wearing a uniform says, nurses are the actual heroes. So when you get a chance, thank a nurse, okay? So to begin, I just brought some basic data. I wasn't sure what the committee wanted to hear, but I brought some data on call volume for the month of April. Morongo Basin Ambulance, which serves every community here in the Morongo Basin with the exception of Yucca Valley. We do respond into Yucca Valley, but that's only when Yucca Valley Fire's resources are depleted. Likewise, when our resources are depleted, they would respond into our area. So for the month of April, we ran a total of 375 medical aids or traumas, any type of emergency response. Those broken down for the city of 29 Palms, 187, Joshua Tree, 102, Yucca Mesa area, 37, Landers, 10, Morongo, 31, Johnson Valley was 1, the city of Yucca Valley was 1, and then we had some miscellaneous ones in there. Some of those miscellaneous ones can be the area of Cadiz. We've been going out there, not frequently, but we've been going out there at least once a month now. And then the city of Amboy or town of Amboy. So that would be your remaining balance of that. For the month of April, roughly 25 traffic collisions. Those traffic collisions could have ranged anywhere from 2 vehicles to a motorcycle to, again, what the gentleman was bringing up about people crossing in front of Pie for the People. That seems to be a favorite spot for people to cross the road there. So. And then other ones would be off-highway vehicle collisions, those motorcycles racing in the desert, that kind of thing. So, any questions? Sir.
Comments I made, were they correct?
Which comments?
Well, I made a comment about the fuel charge unless it's a transport, if you treat anyone that comes, and there's only a bill to actually transport somebody.
That's correct. At another time, I'd more than be happy to come back to the committee and put on a program for you guys to let you guys know. Morongo Basin Ambulance is a nonprofit ambulance company. Part of that is that also in this county, we do not charge unless you go to the hospital with us. So that's a county mandate. That's not just something that we put together. That is part of the benefit of living in this county. So it's definitely a good thing. And then what was the other follow-up was, we are. For this area, with the exception of Yucca Valley. We staff 5 ALS ambulances on the weekend and 4 throughout the week in between the cities of 29 Palms and Joshua Tree. The Wonder Valley one, actually, believe it or not, it looks like we only ran 1 Wonder Valley medical aid last month. I'm going to check on that because it seemed a little light, but most of the county responses, like what the chief was saying, they seem to have been outside of the Wonder Valley area, and then their other responses would be calls that we don't go on, such as fires. Yes, ma'am.
Do you still have a subscription program where people can
We do.
pay so much a year and use that service?
We do. We do. Traditionally, it's not something that I like to talk about unless I'm invited to talk about it, just simply because I never want to have the appearance I'm trying to sell anybody anything. It's the last thing I ever want. But we do have a very good program that I'd be more than happy to leave you a card and talk to you about it, or anyone here in the audience that wants to know about it. Yes?
I had I won't say pleasant opportunity, but it was to use your guys' services. And two guys that came out were just awesome. I mean, we laughed and we joked, and I was in extreme pain, and they were just really good. But the decision was, we went to this hospital up here, but I got shipped down below, and I got two other guys that were real deadheads. I mean, but I think you guys should let people know that if they go here first and they can't get what they need, you're gonna have to pay again bigger money to go down below.
That's.
You guys debated about whether to take you down there or up here.
It is, and that's correct. And unfortunately, the insurance companies are the ones that sometimes dictate the pay. I have no decision on that. And so there are times where if we were to bypass one hospital, then an insurance company might say, well, since you're bypassing that closer hospital and going to a further one, that's your decision. We disagree. We, meaning the insurance company, disagrees with it, so we're not going to cover you. So unfortunately, it's
Well, it took two ambulances.
no, and I agree that's also a waste of a second ambulance, also a waste of your time. But unfortunately, we have protocols we have to follow, and if the protocol dictates that we take you to the closest facility, that's what we'll do. Traditionally, we'll talk it over with the patient and make sure that they agree with that idea. But ultimately, and I don't know what your condition is, and don't want you to tell us here at this meeting, but if your condition warranted going to a closer facility and my paramedics and EMTs decided that's the best option, then it probably was the best option.
I made the choice and it was wrong.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Robert. We will have you back for a presentation. Move on item, reports from the MAC. You want to start us out? Dawn?
Yes.
Make sure your mics are on.
Hi, I'm Dawn Landers, rep, and can you guys hear me? Is it on?
Get close to it.
Is it on?
Yeah, get close.
Yeah, it's on. Okay. Okay, so we got our street sign replaced for the Dakota Street sign that we had put in a request for, and it's beautiful. And they also put in a stop sign as well, and that's right off of Ricci Road. There were a few other signs that are missing off of Ricci Road, so we put in a request for them, and it has been submitted, and they're probably gonna be replacing those. There's about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 other signs that are off of Ricci Road that are missing. So it's really awesome. We're excited about that. And we had our tire roundup this past April 15th, and we collected over 14.5 tons of tires, which is approximately 1,000 tires, which is a lot, just in the Landers area. There was also an illegal dump site that was found, and they had gotten probably about 200 tires from there, and there's still more there. So we're working on getting those cleared out as well. And let's see, this past Saturday, May 6th, the Landers Association had their Bazaar, which I found out was a huge success. I couldn't go, I had to work. And just a reminder, the Landers Thrift Store is open every Saturday from 10 to 2 at Belfield Hall, and item donations are welcome. So if you guys are doing any spring cleaning and there's things you don't want, consider donating it to the Landers Thrift Store. And our next Landers Association meeting will be this Saturday, May 13th at 3 p.m. at Belfield Hall. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Dawn, Teresa?
Hi, Teresa Seitz from Wonder Valley. I want to thank James Brakebill, Ed Valorant, and Almut Fleck from Wonder Valley for attending tonight. We had a community meeting last Saturday with 25 people present. Battalion Chief Mike Snow updated us on a structure fire that occurred on April 24th and the status of our fire station. Like he said, we had 57 calls in the month of April, with 44 of those calls being outside of Wonder Valley, which meant 13 inside. There seems to be an uptick in reported burglaries and B&Es. We have new squatters in the area and could really use the help of the Sheriff's Department and the county to dislodge them. We are wondering if there's a prescribed series of steps that we can take to protect our community from people squatting. The community pointed out that there's a need for shelter services for homeless adults and children in the area. After the community meeting, Tim Delory of Regenerative Designs gave a presentation on permaculture in the Mojave Desert with about 20 people in attendance. The memorial potluck for Jack McConaughey was attended by about 60 people and was a lovely community event attended by many former volunteer firefighters from throughout the Morongo Valley Basin. The well owners meeting on May 7th was held at the New Godwin Christian Church with about 25 people attending. The cost of fees and insurance required to use our Wonder Valley Community Center proved prohibitive to the nonprofit. The community of Wonder Valley is concerned that no one will be able to afford to use our community center going forward. There will be a HEAP Home Energy Assistance Program workshop on June 2nd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Wonder Valley Community Center. Everyone in the Morongo Basin is welcome to attend. Staff from Joshua Tree National Park will be presenting from 3 to 5 p.m. on Saturday, June 10th on citizen science and how people living in our area can contribute to a community project. Everyone is welcome and all our events are always free. For more information about what's happening in Wonder Valley, please go to wondervalley.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
And for Yucca Mesa, just a few upcoming events. We are having our swap meets twice a month. We just had one this past Saturday, and we'll have another one on the 20th. Every fourth Friday, we have a potluck and general meeting. So the next one will be on May 26th. And that's just about it. Thank you.
Joshua Tree, second Saturday nights, don't forget about that. Every second Saturday is the art crawl through the downtown area. The new arts and crafts started 2 Sundays ago, and that's now at Turtle Island on Sunday. And Gail, is that from 8 to 2? The arts and crafts?
It's the same hours as the farmer's market.
That's 7 till 2 then, I think?
7 to 1.
7 to 1, okay.
Fine breaking down.
Okay, it's brand new, and it just started last Sunday, I believe, Sunday before last, yeah. And I do have some news. There was some concern about a park sign on Turtle Island that was put there, and Caltrans assured me that they're going to move that. So that's in the process right now. And I wanted to give a shout out to Blake Baxter. Blake, would you give us that time and location of the meeting again? I understand it's here, your community watch, your neighborhood watch, which I think is real important, and I hope more people would start neighborhood watches. This Thursday? At 4 p.m.? Here. Okay, thank you, Blake, and that's it for Joshua Tree. Gail?
Hi, I'm Gail Swart, Morongo Valley. Caution to any birders or people who come to Covington Park either really early in the morning or when it gets to be dusk. Mama bear and her cub are in the park now and are going through the trash. We're trying to get the trash removed every day so that people are not actually having contact with the bear, but do be careful if you come to Covington Park. The Morongo Valley Firefighters Auxiliary is having their big fundraising event on June the 3rd, Saturday, June 3rd. It's casino night, and we have professional casino people there, and it's really fun. It's open at 6, and the gambling starts at 7. And you gamble and you get tickets, and then there are prizes at the end. And all the money goes to the Morongo Valley Firefighters Auxiliary, which supports our fire department. So if you're interested in anything, see me after the meeting, and I'll give you a number to call. Thank you, that's it.
Mary Helen Tuttle, Copper Mountain Mesa. I want to remind everyone that on Wednesday, May 17th, from 4 to 6:30 at the Joshua Basin Water District Demonstration Garden is the celebration of life for Victoria Fuller. So that is going to be Wednesday, May 17th. So it's a week from this coming Wednesday from 4 to 6:30. Okay. Joshua Basin Water District, their demonstration garden. Okie doke. Out in my area, the road maintenance fee increase ballot measure was defeated. 344, 445 against. Staff is developing a plan to go forward. There is going to be a meeting this coming Wednesday at the Copper Mountain Community Center at 7 p.m. The county is going to come out, and I'm not sure what they're going to say, but they're going to be there, and maybe they'll discuss what they're going to do going forward. I don't know. Yes? Shoot.
Winters Road, where it's paved,
Yes,
county didn't do that, right?
they did.
Are they going to maintain, it's starting to get potholes?
Actually, we have been maintaining it. We kind of go on and off with different community members buying the bags of black tar and filling the holes. So we've been doing that ourselves. You're welcome. We just recently had, on April 23rd, we had an event put on by MDLT. It was called, MDLT and the Stewards of the Coyote Valley. It was called Snakes, and it was very well attended. We also had a 2-day workshop on Monday the 24th and Tuesday the 25th. It was the Alternatives to Violence Project workshop, and that was attended by 6 community members. That was free, and it was very good. There is probably going to be more. We have breakfast the first Saturday of the month, just had one, turned out pretty well. We have bingo the first Tuesday of the month, that's turning out pretty well. And we have a board meeting on the second Saturday of the month, so that's this coming Saturday at 10 a.m. We'd love to see you. Thanks.
Nothing for Pioneer Town.
Okay, thank you. That concludes it. Now we'll move on to the, oh, wait a minute, before we do that, Tom, okay, you turned in is this part of the Caltrans comment? Okay, then we'll make you the first question. How's that, or comment?
I just want to make a statement about
Okay, come on up. Thank you. We're giving Tom a pass on this because he was at a very important meeting prior to this, so.
Yeah, can you hear me? I just wanted to talk about the striping going on downtown. And since Caltrans was here, and we still have CHP here, which is good news, that the issue that's going on in downtown Joshua Tree and along the highway with regards to safety, and that I wanted to encourage, well, I went in and I looked at the map of what's about to happen in downtown Joshua Tree, and as I understand, it's going to be over Memorial Weekend they get started. Is that about right? I think Memorial Weekend the project begins. Okay. Anyway, I had a chance to look at the map, and I just wanted to encourage everybody to go along with this program because it's the first positive step that's happened regarding anything that we've been asking for. I don't think it's perfect. I really don't. I'm an accident investigator for 33 years. I worked for personal injury attorneys, and I've looked at a lot of maps, and I've looked at a lot of accidents, and I looked at this one. And I'm not exactly happy with it. I'm wondering, I've never seen a map like this one quite before. There's some delineation that doesn't look quite like I've ever seen before, but there's some things about it that I think are interesting, and I just wanted to say that I support the idea. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, we move on to why everybody showed up, your Caltrans update on downtown Joshua Tree traffic plan. And of course, you all showed up because of our community reports too, right? Thank you, and we appreciate that. Okay. Terry Kasenga and Haising Yaya is here to give us an update on the Joshua Tree downtown traffic plan.
Good evening, everybody. Again, this is Haitham Yahya. I'm the Office Chief for Caltrans District 8, which is Riverside and San Bernardino County. And my current title is the Acting Sustainability Asset and Innovation Manager. So I'm wearing a couple hats today. We've been here a few times talking about the concerns that the Joshua Tree community brought up to us through the MAC about the issues that within the Joshua Trees. This is probably our 4th meeting regarding this subject. We introduced an idea, as the gentleman just passed by and said, it's just a stretch on a piece of napkin. That's an idea to share. And the first thing I want to say is I want to thank the MAC members and this community, because what the product we have here tonight is your work. It was maybe an idea that we put share with you, but it's a lot of modification, a lot of adjustment, a lot of work that we did is because what we heard out of you and we took it back to the engineering staff in the district that actually listened to your comments and tried to make adjustment to meet your need. So there's a lot of comment came in from bikers, from pedestrians, from the vehicles. So the end project is, and I want to leave the construction and all the detail to later. I'm just going to go over what we're doing. The small map here you see in the bottom, I apologize if you don't see it on that side, is actually what we've been sharing many times on this. And I think you guys have it posted somewhere for the community to share. This is the nutshell is how it's going to look like. If you're going to see these little white angle, these are the diagonal parking. If you see in the green, actually you're going to have a green pavement for bicycles. You're going to have bicycle has green pavement. That's you're going to see. And it's going to be bike lane is going to be 6 feet wide. The number of the lane width is not going to change. You see that little circles right here? These are the channelizer that you see at Morongo Valley. They're going to be around the corners, so prohibit vehicles from cutting off into this white pavement areas. So, and there's a lot of other things going to come with it, signage, and a lot of, signage is going to be on both sides of the highways. We heard, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this gentleman over there, you talked to me about backing up as you're biking. Is it you? Blake? Blake. Is it you? Somebody was here for, you were, like, last time. Yeah, last time. You brought about the issues of backing up and you have the bike right behind you. So what we did is, we give you extra 2 feet. We move the bike lane and we give that extra 2 feet so somebody backing up have a plenty of time to observe if the bike is in the middle of that. So actually there is, because the bike is not gonna be on the edge, it's gonna be in the middle of the lane. So this is a 6 feet wide, so pretty much you're on like 2 feet or 3 feet from the edge of it, plus the 2 feet. So you got about 4 or 5 feet behind the vehicles when the vehicle is backing up for the bicycles. So we listened to the gentleman and we went back and we implemented. This is actually one of the ideas, where a lot of ideas came up actually also from the lady standing up, talking about has issues at sunset for people not be able to see traffic coming in. We moved the stop sign up about almost 12 feet. So actually your corner side distance now is a lot visual. Again, our job is to listen to you and implement here. The things happen is we said we're gonna do this within $25,000, right? Oh my God. It is, we could have done it within $25,000, but we would not get the green color. We would not get the channelizer. We would not get a lot of stuff. So I went back to my boss, I said, listen, we can have our maintenance folks come in tomorrow and do the things. But this is kind of like you said, like a Band-Aid. You know what I'm saying? It's not that beautiful. It's not the things I want to give this community. I want something more. So what do you want? I said, we have a project. Let's see what we can do. It took me 6 weeks, believe it or not, almost 2-3 hours a day. I don't want to say fighting, arguing, pulling tooth to get the money for this project. Anybody want to guess how much now we're going to pay for this? How much your city is getting, your town is getting?
$250,000.
How much?
$250,000.
I wish I had that kind of money now. Right now, the bid came in on only this kind of work, $98,000 plus.
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you to you, because this came from you. Really, I'm serious. I told my boss, a lot of work here is because what we got and the feedback from you. And still, we're gonna have some feedback. Is this gonna be 100% collision-free? Nothing that's called collision-free unless we go with, I believe that Tesla guy, he's doing tunnels right now. If we do tunnels for vehicles to move from one place to the other. This, I don't know if you heard of that too. It's an idea that he want to put underneath LA, some tunnels moving vehicles. So until we get to that level or have his kind of money, maybe we can do such things. But for what we spend in here, I think this is well money spent for the things we're going to do for the community. I heard about people talking about pedestrians, people jumping, crossing, wide lane. This is now your cross area is smaller. Still, we don't want you to cross in the middle of the road. This is the wrong way to cross. We have a crosswalk at Park. That's what you need to cross. Please, you know. And like I said, I told the MAC, if this is a success, I'm going to be working with you closely and with the county of San Bernardino to make this as a permanent. Maybe extend the curb, extend the sidewalk, make the city more attractive. We heard that we have last year over 2 million visitors for Joshua Tree. By the way, I heard it on the news too. You guys all over. I was watching, I believe, NBC Night Show, and one major actor, I keep forgetting his name. And he talked about it when he was a little younger. Him and his brother were here, and his brother pulled a big trick on him. There was a conversation about Joshua Tree about 15 minutes on NBC at night. I'm serious. You guys all over. So this is what we're proposing. The good news about it, the contractor gonna start on May 22nd. So May 22nd is Monday. That's 98% guarantee unless there is a failures in equipment or the weather not permitted. So as of now, May 22nd, you're gonna start seeing some activities either by some lane closure, some signage for this kind of work. I know they're gonna be also working on segment 1, which is further to the west. So they're right now they're doing the draft and how so it doesn't impede the traffic too much. So this is supposed to be work. We give them 5 days work, but I think they could be doing it a lot faster. It depends how their equipment works. Yeah, but I think should be done faster than that. And I think with that, and I don't want to give you the date, but I guarantee you that I'm going to have a crew coming up after this. We implement this to do the speed service, and maybe the next step is try to deal with the speeds. Okay, the speed survey is what you drive. Remember that. I talked to you about it a few times before. It's what you drive, it's what's recorded, is what posted. So make sure, obey the speed or drive the speed that you think is supposed to be driven there, so it's gonna be posted. All right? If my engineer come back and his survey shows 55, don't point a finger at me. It's you who drive in, and we do the surveys during the week. We don't do it on a weekend. We don't do it at night. We do it during the work hours. So our staff come in, we work from 7 to 5. So you are driving between 7 and 5. Not the visitors, because they come in on a weekend or a Friday. We don't do Friday usually too. We don't do much Monday, probably Tuesday through Thursday. There we go, cheers. So obey the speed or drive the speed that you're supposed to drive, okay? And I'll open it for question, Mark. That's all what I have. All right, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Sarah Taylor. I'm the co-owner of the Country Kitchen Restaurant, which is right there on your map, right? We are basically just a little bit in from Park Boulevard between Park and Veteran. You're going to start this project May 22nd?
Yes.
And it's going to take how long?
Few days.
Few days, because that's Memorial Day weekend. My business relies heavily on tourist dollars. And I really love my local community, that's my mainstay, but that weekend is a very big weekend for me and other business owners.
We're not gonna be there on the weekend, we'll be done before the weekend.
You'll be done.
May 22nd is Monday, and we try to be out of there before that. And I am gonna take this to the construction staff. If we have any issues, we'll stop working.
They can't work anyway over Memorial Day, they'll be on Friday through.
Yeah,
But if it says no parking or it's all blocked off, that doesn't help us in the
The
neighborhood.
lane closure will not be, we have as a regulation, we have a lane closure committee. Usually on a weekend, long weekend, we stop working at.
6 a.m. Friday to 6 p.m. Monday.
Here we go.
Okay.
She's our
So
PIO.
I appreciate that. Can I ask one other small question? This whole plan, I understand we're trying to slow people down going through town because of the backing out. We're not changing the speed limit at all, right?
Not yet.
So people are gonna be backing out into Highway 62 from those diagonal parking spaces. They're gonna have to back up into Highway 62 to pull out. Is that correct?
Yes, what I'm saying is gonna back up, but before you go into the lane, you got 2 feet plus 6 feet, you got 8 feet width to back up into. So you're not backing up in the lane. You're backing up in an 8 feet wide shoulder that's actually sufficient enough to pull into.
Oh, that was my question.
Sure,
Thank you.
no problem. Yes, over there. Oh, no, behind you.
Yeah, wait for the microphone.
Thank you. I want to say thank you for the modifications. I can't see them very well from here, but I have one question. Can you explain the white dots again? What are those? Are those things
white-
in the road, or are they?
These in the middle? These,
Yes.
That's not that, they're arrow, telling you can make a left turn. They're left turn arrows. If you
Okay.
get closer, you see them. They're arrows making a left turn.
Okay,
So there's no dot in the middle.
okay.
The two-way left turn lane or the left turn pocket that you have today, they're not gonna change.
Okay, so this is what you're going to do, and that's fine. Like Mr. O'Key said, we could probably do better, but that's for a different day. I do want to say thank you for the modifications. There's more parking here than there was before. The green bike lane might be a visual aid to slow people down, but as this lady just said, there's still issues with backing up across a bike lane into 45-mile-an-hour traffic. I don't see that resolved. Delivery trucks are still going to have a big problem that they don't right now. They're not going to be able to stop in front of their places of business where they do exchanges. I guess my comment really, if this is going to happen, go ahead and do it. I guess there's nothing to be done to stop it. What we would really, really like to have, and this has been mentioned before, and Janet Armstrong has brought it up in other venues, we really need you to come with our Public Works Department and some representation from the community to work out long-term solutions for the traffic, for pedestrian crossing, for bicycle circulation, for safe vehicle movement and deliveries and the way this downtown area gets used and how business works is going to be hampered in many ways by this project. There are safety issues that it brings up that and other safety issues that it doesn't resolve. So anyways, I guess my request is that you guys come out and talk with us and Public Works, and maybe the representative from the supervisor's office can help arrange that. But it also needs to be represented by the community so that we can work out some long-term solutions for all of this. You guys can't do anything for the county roads. The county can't do anything with the state highway. We need a collaborative effort to come to some long-term solutions. Thank you.
I want to thank you for this, response to us. Again, this is what happened. We work with the county constantly, maybe behind the scenes, but I did offer always, I'm available. Anytime the community will invite other agencies, the county or whoever have the agency you require, as long as I got enough notices, probably a few days, so can arrange my schedule, I'll be more than happy to come in. Actually, I can also come in on a weekend. I did that to the town of Yucca Valley when they have the meetings a long time ago to arrange for what the 62. So I'm open to any time, any day that you guys willing to sit down. Local circulation, we like to have the county the lead on that, but we as a supportive state agency, because we control 62, we are willing to come in and participate. But we'd like to have the county the lead on this,
Yeah.
and we'll participate.
I just want to make it clear, this is a pilot program.
Yes.
And it's subject to change depending on how it works.
Yes.
Okay, so, yes, let's see how it works, and if it needs modification, absolutely, we can get Public Works involved.
Yes, definitely. I think there's a question behind this.
Okay, yeah, I had a quick question. Well, where do you, I mean, because it's 2 lanes on the highway, right? So where do you go if you break down? Like right there?
You go into one of these parking and you park.
Okay, and then another question too, how would you pull a car out of a parking that broke down with a tow truck without blocking traffic?
You can block a number, doesn't matter. Actually, if you break out on a highway where you don't have a shoulder, they block a lane.
Okay, 'cause-
It's not a big deal for tow truck to go ahead and set it up to block the traffic for vehicle, that's an emergency.
Well, it's
And
fine.
I'm not a true truck driver, so I'm not gonna step on that,
Yeah,
but this
because,
is,
oh, I mean, it's just very impractical, but also,
how you do it if you have a parallel parking?
no, no, the thing is, if you take away a lane, where are you gonna go?
No, we're not taking the lane out.
No,
You're
you-
misunderstanding. We're taking only a pavement that nobody's supposed to be driving on. There's a
Okay.
white pavement that nobody's supposed to be driving
So-
on. So we're getting use out of it by providing
Okay.
better parking and better visual of how the community gonna be operating around.
Okay, you still have 4 lanes? Yeah. Oh, okay, that's basically what my question was.
Yeah. Actually, 4 lane and a lane in the middle for left turn movement. There is a question, right?
In the city of 29 Palms, they have some of the members, council members that are on a committee that meets with Caltrans.
Yes.
Is there anything comparable to that for the MAC meeting where they have someone that comes to these meetings? Is that something that, and that's something, it's a question to Mark and stuff, is that something that could be done or is it reasonable? The city of 29 Palms has somebody that goes, that's participates in these Caltrans meetings, but yet the county does not, to my knowledge, or this area doesn't. Is that a feasible thing?
Okay, respond to that. The county of Yucca Valley, if they have a project, they send some representative to talk to us about sharing the ideas. What I'm offering here, you welcome to come into Old District 8, our office in downtown San Bernardino, but if you want, I'm available, I can come to you. So it is your choice, it's the choice of the MAC meeting. If they want to come in and meet with us in the office, we met with some member of the MAC meeting in San Bernardino, and there are some offices in San Bernardino that we met and we share some ideas. So it's a two-way street, so it's no big deal. Where we meet is not a problem, it's the idea that we have to share, and the problem that we have to address is, to me, is the issue. So we're open to meet, if you're willing to have me host a meeting down in our office, we welcome. But I'd rather be here because I want to see and hear what the people here driving and walking let me know their thoughts. Where there's a question.
So if I'm getting the design element correct here with the herringbone or wishbone parking, is it the drivers coming through town are going to have a new perception of the situation, and this is going to calm the speed?
Yes.
Because the anticipated view now is into a parking situation as opposed to this wide road that seems wide open, we're now narrowed, and that the drivers going through town are going to perceive the potential that people will be backing out because they are going into this new parking situation.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that basically the idea?
Yes, sir. And as you said earlier on your presentation, you said you were an investigator or some type of work. Visual is very important. That's all what we're doing. Visual is very important to the driver. So perspective of the driver as you're driving, if I'm driving to Vegas, and it's a 2-lane only, but nobody in front of me for, when you have a long tangent, probably 10, 15 miles straight, right? Nobody in front of you. If you go 40 or you go 80, you're not feeling the difference, right? Because it's the same thing. But if all of a sudden there's a truck next to me, that 80 might reduce to 70. If there is a couple trucks, I might be 65 down. So it's the visual. And actually, as you notice, is what we did in Morongo Valley. In Morongo Valley, we have close to, within a couple years, we got close to 9 fatalities. Okay? We put that little plastic, that white plastic. It's been since 2013. June will be 4 years. Hopefully, and we have the project right now coming in. We have 0. Not only fatality, we have 0 collision of these type of collision. So the visual of that plastic is not going to stop a vehicle, just the visual of it. That's what we're trying to implement here. We're giving you something visual to slow the traffic around. We're not doing magic, it's just from experimental. That's what we felt. And the study shows anytime you put something on it, it gives you better solution. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, are you new at this job? Because Caltrans has a pretty bad reputation for not responding to the needs of the people. And are you new? Is this a new policy, or is there a possibility that this will change someday back to the old ways? Or
You see, for my service, over 25 years, look what I got.
okay,
I've been with the
just a new attitude, it
I've been
seems
with the
like.
department for 26 years. We hear this all the time, and we take it with an open heart, with a big smile on our face. We've been accused for that a lot of time, but we also, as other state agency or government agency, there's a limitation, rules and regulation we have to follow. Believe me or not, we got peoples that are committed. They work day and night trying to make the public safety is number one, and that's our goal, is in our mission. The safety of the public is our number mission. Communication is very important. We hear that from my district director on a daily basis. Hopefully you'll meet him. I'm trying to bring him here. My goal is to bring him here, and I will try to schedule something with the MAC to come and meet him. He's a great leader for us. He's came to our district about a couple of years ago. Okay? Couple of years ago. Doesn't mean that our ex-district director or the previous one are not good. This one is especially committed to other mode of transportation. He said, I don't want to see how Mr. Joe gonna go from Morongo Valley to Yucca Valley in a car. How long is it gonna take him? He said, no. I want to know how he's going to get there, with what type of mode of transportation, and is he going to get there safe. It's not how the car or how fast he's going to get to that point. He want to concentrate on bicycle, pedestrian, transit, buses. This is his goal. That's his mission. And we are here, we're working for him, and we have to work to answer his question. Sorry, am I out of time? No. Sorry. Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. I think you mentioned you'll maintain the existing 2 lanes in either direction and a middle turn lane. How much narrower will the road be now?
The road is not narrower. The road is actually has deficiency by having an extra pavement outside the number of 2 lanes. When we say this is, I don't know if you guys know, for engineering, the fast lane, we call it number 1. The slow lane, as you go to the right, we go 2, 3, 4, it depends how far the lane. So the middle lane is number 1, and as you go to the right is the number. So you got number 1 and number 2. Then after that, you have a wide pavement. That pavement is supposed to be only 8 feet shoulder, not more than that. You got over 30-something, 40 feet of extra pavement that is not supposed to be there. So what we're doing is we're trying to get use of that to get the safety component back into that segment.
If I could clarify, I think that the pedestrian has less distance to cross, I think you're saying.
I
So
don't
how
want to
much
say
less
that
is
because I still don't want pedestrian to cross in the middle of this. This is illegal.
At the crosswalk, is it still?
And the best way to cross is at the crosswalk. You decide to cross in the middle, you're still in violation. This is the law. You cannot cross in the middle, as the gentleman said, you're gonna get hit. With this, maybe, a little improvement, but it still is not gonna stop vehicle from hitting you because you're not supposed to be in the middle of here. Okay? So I'm not putting this up to encourage people to make block crossing. Okay, that's not what my mission is. If it is, I want to take it back because that's wrong. If that's what I'm giving you, it's wrong vision. I'm not giving you that. Okay, so please.
So do they have less distance to cross now, or is this the same?
I'm not going to answer that. I said you're not supposed to cross.
At the crosswalk, is it the same?
The crosswalk is at park. You have, because what happened is in the future project, as Mark mentioned, if we decide to go ahead and implement it and move the curb up, yes, you will. And that will require another $200,000-300,000 to do that. And maybe that's what we'll do is we'll meet with the county, work with the county based on their funding and the state funding, and maybe can have a joint project and go ahead and do that. Yes. Any other questions? Thank you.
Hi, I want to thank you very much for what you did. You did listen to us, and you did come back with something wonderful, and it is a pilot, and then we'll see what happens. My part was that I made up a banner that said, Save Lives, Drive 35, and I put it on Turtle Island whenever I'm at work. The first banner I left up for 5 days, and it got cut down. And several people have said, well, maybe Caltrans cut it down because you can't put a banner up on Turtle Island, and I own that property. You have easement, but I own it. And so I just wanted to ask in public, was there any possibility that it was Caltrans and not someone mean that cut my banner down?
The response to that, if it's within the Caltrans right away, Caltrans ownership, you cannot put it unless you have a permit for it. But if it's not within Caltrans permission area that we operate, then it's not Caltrans who touch it. So I don't know. I have to know exactly. You said if Caltrans leased that land from you, that means we operate it and maintain it. So this is a question. If you own it, our maintenance would not go into anybody's property with their permission, without their permission.
And cut a banner down?
We not touch anybody's properties. We have no legal to go cross into, even when we do our environmental study, when we have people come in and looking for, plants or animals or stuff like that, if we gotta put 1 foot into somebody's property, we would not do that until we get permission and pay the fees for that property owner for us to cross into their property line. Even doesn't have a fence or nothing. I mean, even it's just a drawn line in the sand. We don't cross it as long as we know it's not in our property. But if our maintenance by mistake thought this is belong to us,
That's very possible because we do own some of it. So it is possible that maintenance did come and take it down because some attention has been drawn to it lately based on a request about the signs and everything.
Because Farmers Market is up in the same place on Saturdays.
Yeah, and we would have to go out there and probably stake out our right of way to find out who owns what.
Should I talk to you afterwards?
Yeah, or email me, and we're gonna have to, it takes some time.
You know,
It's gonna take surveys about 4
let
months.
me give you easier solution. Do you know our superintendent for maintenance in
Yeah,
this
but no,
area?
I'm telling you right now, they will have me have it right away state where we went through this.
No, but I'm just saying if she can shows her property line, and you put any property line, you can have. Because I've seen actually Chamber of Commerce, they put signs along that eastbound direction. It's not in our right of way, because that's not allowed in our right of way.
We have a sign company, and we have certain rules in San Bernardino County that you have to adhere to. You gotta get a permit before you put a sign up, and you gotta have it X distance from the center of the road. So if that sign is not, I think it's 55 feet away from the center of the road, you gotta look at the wire up there. Usually that's a good way to tell. If it's not this side of that wire, that we've had signs taken down by San Bernardino County.
Okay.
They bring them to the county place over here, we've had to go pick them up.
So maybe that could be county too, I don't know. I don't work in the maintenance, but like I said, the only thing we do is if it's within our right of way, and if it's not permitted, then we remove it. That's all what I can answer for you. But Terry can go ahead and, if you give her the line where exactly, she can respond to that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, sir.
As it is right now, this project will start the 22nd of this month. Is that correct?
That's the latest information I received this afternoon, yes.
Okay. Fool us once, shame on you. Fool us twice, shame on us. Thank you.
Yes.
How many diagonal parking spaces are there now?
You know what, I did not count it, but what I did is actually, I did have asked my engineer to count whatever parking permitted right now on parallel parking. I think you're getting more number of slot parkings total. Because we kind of eliminate some because they're on the corner and people illegally parking there because of the corner side distance, as the lady in the back says, as you come from Sunset. Because if there's a vehicle parked right here, and come out of here, it's gonna block your side. So we adjust this so it does not block your corner side.
So is the drawing accurate? Like, could I count the number of spaces, and is that it?
I would not do that.
Okay, thanks.
But you know what, if you want the exact number, I can provide that to you, because I think I have it. Actually, you know what, I'll have somebody, I don't know if he has enough information on this. I rather not give this number out. I have better plan right here, because, it's not, I have to count it, but I rather have the engineer look at it, okay? By the way, I forgot to mention something. I did receive two emails from Mrs. Johnson this afternoon regarding Janet Johnson?
That's not me.
Sorry, Janet Johnson. So I promise that I'm gonna answer your question tonight as much as I can. Again, last meeting we left, we said, please, if you have comments, send it to us as soon as possible sooner. I got this email this afternoon. I glanced, I promise you. No, it's okay. I glanced at it, and thank you, because it gave me some points. No, but it gave me some point to answer my, how I open my subject here tonight. So I hope I answer some of your questions.
Actually, I did have one question.
Okay, we'll get to that. So again, I want to recognize Janet on this. She made the effort. She sent really nice 2 emails to me. They're really worth reading. They're one couple page and the other is 1 page. They're really nice. I enjoyed my afternoon, so I had my lunch here in the car outside. So again, you know what? I love these comments. I love these letters because, like I said, I drive here as often as I can, but I have a wide area to cover. I cover San Bernardino and Riverside County, the 2 largest counties in the state, in the nation. Actually, San Bernardino, I think, number 1 or 2, and Riverside is follow with that, So we have the largest lane mile we cover in the state. I have a lot of area to cover. I'll have a lot of community to visit, thanks to this lady. She never let me sleep. She always tell me, Big Bear, Hammett, I love to go to community, but if you can send me stuff, I can do a lot of things from my office too. But I'm happy and I love to come to meet all of you. But again, I appreciate your letter, and if you have, that's open to everybody. Anything, we left our cards with the MAC members and on the table before. If you need them, Terry will leave her email address and contact her, and she knows how to hunt me again. Any other questions?
Sorry. Yeah, so first off, thank you for the delineators. That was keeping me up at night worrying about someone, going around onto the white lines without the delineators. Okay. No, I said thank you. Thank you for the delineators. That was the main point. I was like, oh God, you need to have the delineators or everyone's just going to ignore the lines. And so thank you for doing that. And thank you for getting the extra money because that's like 4 times what you said it was going to be. So that right there, that was half the stuff at the beginning. And one thing I wanted to ask was if, when the speed survey comes, and maybe you send a coded message to Mark to let us all know. After that, if everyone is driving slower and we get it down to maybe around that 35, that golden, can we have our crosswalk, please, at Pie for the People and Mike's? Because that's where we really, really need is that one intersection.
Let me do that. We're gonna do the surveys, okay? And I'm not telling you to drive slower or nothing. I think you're gonna end up driving slower when you see this. And that's what my goal is, okay? My goal is to you and the visitors, when they see this kind of approach or this kind of facility that we're gonna place, is for them to look and start slowing down because they know they enter the community. We have a lot of examples. Bishop is a great example. It's not that narrow as this. Bishop downtown, down to 25 miles per hour in Bishop. How they do that? It's the community. Beautiful. I come in, go, what do you call these, Mammoth, for ski and take my kids over there. You go in 70. Easier. No, yeah, 70. You're going 70, and all of a sudden you start seeing 60, 55, 45, 35, down to 25. And believe me, everybody obey the speed limit. Beautiful. Why can't we not have this here? I don't know why. We will. Okay? For the crosswalk, I cannot promise. Again, please, crosswalk is something that, believe me, maybe you know about it because you live here, but your visitors are not gonna be. When they see that 2 white solid line, they're gonna jump into the traffic, And the proposal always been, or not a proposal, always the question come in is to put it at the beginning of the town. That's actually, that's when the high speed is coming in. So we have to be careful on it. I cannot say no right now, but if the speed limit goes down, it's something that we can share. We'll work with you on it. We'll work with MAC community, and also we need to work with the county. So if the county is willing to come in with that, okay? Anything else? Oh, by the way, she was whispering in my ears because I have a surprise, and she said, "No, you have to spill the beans." I was like, "I don't want to do that," but anyway.
Supervisor almost gives a whole thing, but just give him a warning.
Okay.
This will happen before probably the next man.
Okay, what we're doing is actually, as I told you, I'm going to try to introduce my district director to you. My plan is to bring him here.
And maybe the director. I'm going to invite now.
Okay, she probably want to invite our director, the one in Sacramento, the one we see once a year. So he's going to probably, if he is available, is our director, Malcolm. He's to come in, and we're going to ask the MAC if Mr. Supervisor Ramos can join us, all based on their availability. Okay, I just shared this today with my district director. I talked to his secretary. I blocked the day for the 31st. My plan is to come in on the 31st, and I'm trying to put some activity for that. I'm working on it. It's not a promise, and I apologize, Mark, if I not really, kind of something like that. So I want to, but I would really appreciate, I will go through the MAC and let the MAC send invite. I don't know how you do that, guys, Mark. If you
Yeah, well, we have an email list of just about everybody in here. They sign up. We've got over 200 people on that list, and we'll invite them all.
Yeah, what we're gonna do, we'll probably do something like that, and we'll introduce you to the great person we have in Caltrans, we all inspired by, and hopefully we'll have a helmet on his head and his bike, and we'll tell him, make him do the bike tour around here for us. And thank you. Anything else? Mac, anything from me?
That's it. You've covered it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much again.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Unrelated to this project,
Okay.
but with the project you have going currently with the new turn lane going down Highway 62.
Yes.
And I noticed we have tortoise fencing that's been provided, and you have tortoise fencing that's been provided and everything, but I see that where the left turn, or the turn center lane is already in existence, yet on the fog line, there's only about a foot of shoulder. What those areas that you're not going to be touching, is there a plan to put added shoulder space there?
I'm glad you remind me because I heard it, I took a note for it because somebody else actually brought it as a question, how come we're doing this project? And I explained to that in my earliest meetings. We have a lot of different funding in the state, how we do projects. This project is a safety project that's caused by cross-median collision. That means somebody crossing the double yellow and going head-on with the opposite traffic. So it deal only with the median widening. And the scope of the project is to only provide a buffer, that 12 feet or 14 feet wide between both opposing traffic. But since we're touching the area, you're supposed to bring it to standard. And as I mentioned, the shoulder standard is 8 feet for this kind of corridor. Okay, so what are we gonna do with the rest? Because you're right, there's an area between Joshua Tree and 29 and Yucca Valley, and also to the east, there's no shoulder. This is not part of this project, no. But what are we gonna do with that? We do have a project right now in the pipeline, is doing a pavement work, and it's gonna go all the way from Morongo to beyond. What is that? Do you know the limit of that one? The one has a. Anyway, we have a project is to do the maintenance work, and part of that is the shoulder will be included with this project. I don't have the schedule on me with that one. The only issues with that one is right now we're having difficulty because, as the lady said, we have a lot of property that we're leasing from private entity we don't own, and right now with the ADA, the Act Disability, what do you call it? American Disability Act is require us for any project we touch, we have to be in compliance. So all the curb ramps that you see, the curb ramp is the ramp that take a wheelchair person from the street to a sidewalk, has to be compliance. And a lot of them we don't own. And we have difficulty getting these permits. We have 163 ramp that we have to do with that maintenance project. That's why pushing the schedule a little bit delay on that one. So as soon as this project come along, I think we're gonna have that shoulder areas, we're gonna be in compliance with that. Okay? Thank you very much and have a nice evening.
And with that, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming.